Okay, good evening, heroes and heroines, and welcome to Practising Programming in C. Now, yesterday we had the Street Fighter 2 soundtrack, and I found out that we didn't get crushed by the copyright people, so I'm going to go for another soundtrack, also from Overclocked Remix. I'm going for the Donkey Kong Country 2 soundtrack. I've chosen against going for the Donkey Kong 1 because it's unfortunately not tagged up properly. Like, there's no artist tags, so I'll have to like mess around with that, but I just kind of don't really like playing stuff that isn't properly tagged. But anyway, here we go. That sounds a bit quiet to me. Yeah, but I mean, if that doesn't sound loud enough to you guys, just let me know, and I can turn it up. I'm hearing pings. What's happening? That's me. Right. Yeah, so it's currently me and Drive. Drive's currently alive. He's doing, I believe he's playing MEA. I'm not exactly sure what that is. Mass Effect A, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, we have some implementation to do. So yeah, let's just open the Firefox because we're going to need one of these. See if I can close this when it pops up. I think I closed it. Yeah, I did. Right. So here's our current thing. And why did that stop playing? Yeah, I'm not sure why that stopped playing. What did I do? I copied and I went across, went over to there. Oh no, I just did that and then copy. I don't know. Maybe I just fat fingered WRS maybe. No, I don't want to do that. I just want to be focused here. Go down to there, yeah. Right. Let's refresh. Yeah. So basically our goal today is to get our converter to output all this stuff here. So it's got to output the quotes, it's got to output the references, it's got to output insofar as coloured like that. It's got to make sure that this text is all, well, this text has the class authored on it because it has insofar as the author. It's got to colour Zillaresco because he's a member. It's got to superscript 1 because this is a reference. It's this reference here. It has to colour Milton. It has to do a superscript 2 here that corresponds with this guy down here. And then there are categories. It has to output categories there. And then for the quotes, it has to output, in the text, it has to output a superscript A and tie that up with this thing up here. This thing here is a blackboard, so this needs to figure out that it has the blackboard category associated with it. So yeah, I need to be able to I need to remember to distinguish between the medium categories and the topic categories. So like this thing, this purple dot here, represents that it's in the mathematics category, or the mathematics topic category. But the background, like this whole white with the little blue grid, this represents that it's in the medium category of Blackboard. So I'll have to make sure that I kind of account for all those media, basically. And then down here we have this thing here is referring, this 3 is a reference that is the same reference as this thing here. So I need to be able to loop through these and match the ref ID that I'm going to pass it. And if it matches, then just append this to the reference. And then this is just a plain thing. So basically the structure of our player, right, is that there is a title up here, and the title has to contain coloured nicks, it has to contain annotator Miblo, and it can contain, optionally, quotes and references. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to, for the title, I'm going to have a buffer title, so I can write straight into the title all of this stuff. So when we first start off, we determine that we determine first of all that the HTML file is well formed, which, insofar as the parser will tell us. Once we know that it's well formed, we can start to populate the title buffer with this information here, the coloured nicks, and then it will stop before the quotes and references should happen, and then it will start, and then the thing will go into our loop, looping through all the annotations, and whenever we hit like a quote, for example, it will actually write into a new buffer, which is a quotes buffer, similarly with the references. Right. And then when we get down to the end of when we've looped through all of the annotations and popped out of the loop, we'll at that point append the closing part of the title. So, you know, whether there are quotes and references or not, this thing has to be output. And the nice thing about these things is that well, I'll have to make sure that these things are self-contained. So the quotes buffer will contain the opening tags and the closing tags, as well as all the content. Same with the references. So that it will all be valid, basically, when I come to output this guy. So that's the title buffer. And then we've got this bit down here, which is the player, right? And I'm going to create a player buffer for this. And the player buffer will contain it will contain annotations, right? And each annotation, so we're going to have a buffer for the annotations, right? I think that's correct. Yeah, we're going to have a buffer for the annotations, and that buffer for the annotations, that will be written into by a there'll be like there'll be other buffers within that. One of them will be like a bookends buffer, maybe, and basically the bookends one will deal with writing out so we've got the markers container. So the markers container has to be written, right? So similarly to how I was saying that the coloured nicks has to happen, and then this stuff is optional, right? This stuff always has to happen for the title. This stuff here, the player container, has to happen for the player. So that would happen first, and then we'd go in here, and the bookends buffer is going to contain all of the stuff from here up to here, right? So what that means is, oh, hang on a second. For each, yeah, because we've got 3 of these guys, haven't we? So the thing is here, this thing has to be repeated. Oh, actually, yeah, that's the point. So the difference with these guys is that we need, for some of them, we need to append authored and a data ref, right? Everyone needs to contain a data timestamp. So, yeah, right. So that's the only difference, isn't it? Which kind of suggests to me that we could do the... We could fill a buffer with the opening stuff. And the opening stuff would just be this then, maybe. No, that can't be right, can it? Because this can change as you iterate through the annotation. This stuff can change. This stuff won't change. So yeah, right. That's interesting. Maybe we could just straight up get away with writing out, well, filling a buffer with this information, and we kind of keep filling it out as we go through the annotation. And then once we got to the end of the annotation, this will be filled, and we'll know that we'll want to output the header buffer with output this header buffer into an annotation buffer, and then output this information into that buffer, into the annotation buffer. Meanwhile, all of this stuff here, this will be filled in a different buffer, which will be like the text buffer, and that will be filled in all the way to there's categories as well, yeah. That will be filled into here, I'd suggest. Then we need a categories buffer. And the categories buffer will then have to be written out. Yeah, the categories will have to be written out and closed. And then we'll know that we'll have to close the text div. Yeah, right. So the categories buffer will be, so we've used the text buffer, we've used the categories buffer. Yeah, that's okay. And I'll be writing out those things into the annotation buffer. And then in between that, after writing out the text in the category buffer, we then output this, where we'd output all of this stuff, and all of this stuff. Right. And then we'd output the text again. Output the text and the categories buffer again. And then close it. Yeah, I think that sounds right. And close it. And then do the same again. I feel like that is going to work. I mean, we'll see, won't we? But then when we come down here, we'll then just have to output all this. Because this stuff doesn't change. This is all just static stuff. So yeah, let's make a start. Set of buffers, right, okay. That's our outs. Clear memory 0, so I'll tell you what, let us if 0 all of this. It's a bit unfortunate because I mean, like the file index looping is kind of gonna happen with both things, but it's just that these buffers aren't necessarily going to be what we want. All this good code. It's worth bearing in mind actually that this on ref change part of the script is now incorrect. So I think the first thing I should do is actually just make sure that this is all in, because this is the thing that enables this to actually pick the right thing. Pick the right menu to highlight. Yeah. So let's do that as a starter, just to get us warmed up. And also, I mean, I suppose I could, technically I could just rename these after the fact. Refs container and refs, because I mean this isn't just the refs container anymore. It's like, they're sort of, yeah, source menus really, or source containers. Source container. And on ref changed, I mean, on source changed might be it. But yeah, we can deal with that later. Just something to be aware of, and just remember that that's what it's called at the moment. So yeah. And this is my C file, isn't it? Yeah. So first of all, let's just substitute all instances of this for this. Has that worked? I need to actually make it globally, make it go throughout the whole, or the entire line. So that sorted that out. And then, what's the other thing? Oh, you need to end the lines with new line. Yeah, okay. So, for all of these lines, we then want to say norm A, new line, that. I think that's correct. What's happening there? That's the end of the script, is it? So it shouldn't affect it because we don't actually have both things. So that shouldn't highlight because we haven't got the quote thing. That should highlight. They should highlight both, yeah. Cool. Alright, so I think I did that right. So, yeah. Yeah, working location. Just isn't called that. Copy buff to working location out location. Yeah, I mean I wish I could just if zero it so I could toggle between them. I definitely don't want to like lose all of this stuff. So yeah, let's do that because I definitely do want to do that. Right. Well, I mean, in pointer, we are going to want an in pointer, I'd suggest. Well, let's just zero it. So this is the claim buffer. So at this point, we have callopped the memory arena, and that's all we've done. So we just need to go down to here, I'd suggest. Well, out buffer. Have we opened a file even? No, we haven't. So it's literally just this, isn't it? Is that right? Why is that not? Oh, it just hadn't been repassed. So yeah, if I just run this now. Oh, it's going to do absolutely nothing, isn't it? Right. Yeah, that's still the same thing. Okay, and it's not crashing or anything. So here we go. Let's go for it. It's the rewrite. Buffer for the title, buffer for quotes, buffer for references, or quote quote menu, reference menu. Then one for the player. header, text and category, isn't it? So it's like the let's say annotation header. Right, so this and this will write into this, and this will write into this. And then we need a master buffer, don't we, where we actually output it all to. So the master buffer will take, you just write the, you just output the player and the title. So you'd output the title and then the player into the master buffer, and then you're done. Right. So the first thing we need to do is get the files in. So this is all going to be the same. You just pass the file, do that, check that it's well formed. Yep. Then we're away. So what's happening here? This is claiming a buffer out already. That's interesting. Yeah, because I was writing straight into the out, wasn't I? But I don't really need to do that. If it's well formed, then we go through there. Else we do this, and then we have to HTML3 on the in file. Is that right? No, HTML. Yeah, I've got to pass it by address. So for this, we need to do, open that. For each file, we need to do this. If it's well formed, then we do all of that stuff, and then HTML3 it. And that should all happen within that for loop. So I think that's correct. So what was the else? Just fprintf. So there's no harm in just doing that. Exactly the same. Oops. There's no, have I got a file index? Yeah, I've got a file index up here. So with a bit of luck, this should build, shouldn't it? Yeah. If it's well formed, let's just say, for the sake of argument, well, this is well formed, dude. So if it's well formed, then the first thing we need to do is to start populating the title. So here we'd like to claim a buffer for the title. Right. We're going to have this if well formed, so this is the title here. And then after doing the title, we're going to start looping over the annotations. So we're going to claim a buffer. And this thing takes, well, I can see it just down here, can't I? Takes the memory arena, claim memory, which should be done, shouldn't it? And then the size of this thing. I mean, kind of interesting actually that you might as well actually just write this stuff straight out into master. You know, because that isn't actually to do with the title. And maybe that would be a bit more sane to do. You know, just so everything is absolutely modularized. And we know exactly what's going where. You know, because it would be a kind of sweet, sort of, a sweet thing to actually roll this into another buffer. But I don't think I want to do that, really. You know, just for the sake of symmetry, I suppose, and ease of like understanding, so I actually know what's going on. Rest container. So yeah, the annotator. Right, so it's down to here, isn't it? So can I just count how many? So there's 3,111 characters there. 3,105 bytes. So then that's like, right, 3K also. So if I allocate, let us say, 8 kilobytes, should we? I mean, it's possible that it won't be enough at all. 8K. Let's say 16K. Just so we've definitely got plenty. Although, I mean, it might be nice to actually hit some kind of memory errors, so we're actually aware of how much we're using. Would it? Or maybe there won't be any value in that at all. Yeah, let's go for 16K. Okay. So if we do this claiming, we will at some point want to do claimed memory less than or equal to the claim buffer size, the title size. Pretty sure that's what I was doing back down here. Copy buffer out, well, maybe not. Yeah, because we're writing out. Then I was doing this. That's interesting. And then after doing this, I would loop back up. So it's HTML3, loop back up, and oh, the claim buffer happens out here, does it? I see. So that just stays in memory. So we never bother to actually declaim the out. That's interesting. I mean, I think we would want to declaim the title. Well, hang on a minute. We wouldn't, would we? Because I suppose it's the same thing as the out. For each file. That's interesting. So, well, I think the thing is, if I'm within this loop, then I will need to declaim at some point. You know, if I claim them within this loop, I'll need to declaim at some point. So let me just see if that's true. For this, yeah, I'm going to claim the working. So I think the only buffer here that we're claiming outside is the out. So we should find that there should be a bunch of claimed memory minus equals. There should be 3 of them, at least. Well, yeah. Text size, well, there's only one, is there? That's interesting. So that just means that I want to reuse the text size, does it? Claiming the memory arena for the working buffer here. Working. If it's well formed. There's text coming in. Text working and out. Haven't I got a third one? Oh, there wasn't. Oh, yeah, sorry. Well, there are only 3 buffers. Okay. That's interesting. I suppose that would explain, since there's only 3 buffers, I suppose that would explain why I needed to loop over it so many times. Because I needed to make sure that everything was going into the buffers at the right place. At the right time. So yeah, interesting. Well, I mean, I'll see what happens, won't I? But we've claimed the title. Right, let's start to write out into the title. And then we have to remember, if it's well formed, we're going to have this loop here, right? It's going to be for each annotation index. Well, I mean, I've got the loop down here, haven't I? While annotation index is less than the annotation code, right? Yeah. So here we go. I think I'll just use a for. It's this thing, isn't it? I think, well, it's less than the annotation count. Yeah. Right. Well, I didn't quite want to do that. Oh, sorry. Let's just write the goddamn loop. Is it annotation count? Is that what it is? Could be a mistake in there. Well, seems to be alright. Let's say printf, just to see what's going on exactly. Annotation index 1. Annotation index, and then annotation index. What am I going to say? No, it's not that, is it? It's this. Right. That's what I'm talking about. Right. And for our test.html, there's only 5. Yeah. Okay. So basically what I'm talking about here is, if it's well formed, then we're going to start writing into the title, and then at the end of here we're then going to start writing into the master, right, after we've written all the annotations in and we've populated all of the buffers. We're then going to start writing into the actual master buffer. which needs to have a size, doesn't it? So yeah, let's claim the master buffer down here. And this guy has to be like 512, I think. Oh, I need to actually build AWBD42. Oops. Got a sec. It's pretty large, you need to remember. So that's made it 171, okay. Yeah. So 512 for master, I mean, it's probably more than enough, I'd suggest. Because you see, master has to contain all of this stuff. Happy's our arena, actually. I think our arena's 1 meg, isn't it? Yeah, doing is a meg. I suppose actually the claim buffer should check whether we're, well, that'd mean having to pass the arena size, wouldn't it? I was going to say maybe it could check that we're actually within the arena size. And I suppose I definitely should do that, really. Yeah, I mean, it might be nice if this claim buffer could end up taking maybe an array of buffers. Could that be correct? I mean, I'm not going to do that, but I'm just thinking for like future things. And then the first buffer, or like a linked list of buffers maybe. Would that be necessary? I mean, that might even be necessary for the declaiming stuff. Yeah, linked list of buffers. The master buffer being the arena being the first one, and that has a size, and then you kind of go along and you keep making sure that take away everything never the arena size never ends up being less than 0. The arena size take away the size of all the other buffers, making sure that never ends up being 0, less than 0. I suppose we could actually start by writing out some of this stuff. Actually, let's do this. Right. We will need an incrementer, right? If it's well formed, then let's get a print amount or something, print size, print length. Right. Print length is going to be equal to sprintf into the master pointer. Right, we need to make sure that we always go into the master pointer. Because the master pointer can move, right? Sprintf into the master pointer. Well, here we go, working location. He's doing it to the location, is he? I mean, I suppose because it's the first one, he was just doing that anyway. But I'd suggest that if I change this to pointer, that would still do the correct thing. But yeah, we first of all want to do this part of the equation, right? Because that is before the title. And then the title is going to start to be populated with that part. So we need to do that. And then we need to do master.pointer plus the print length. And then we would have to do some what's the function? Copy buffer. Yeah, we'd have to do some copy buffers. We'd have to do some copy buffers into the master pointer. So I suppose technically, well, nah, let's not fake it now. Let's just say that here is where we do right. But, right, after having done all of this stuff, we've got the open body. There should be a closed body. Well, here we go. It's a closed div. So what's this div to do with? Ah, there's the body down here, is it? So we've got the open body. That's the player container. Right, okay. So the next thing that I need to hand write out to the master is from the opening script all the way down to the bottom. Right, because that stuff doesn't change. So we're sprintfing into the master.pointer, which should have moved on by the print length. Right, we're doing that for all of this stuff. And we don't need to record how far I've incremented the pointer this time, because it's the last thing we'll ever do. Check that is not corresponding with that. Yeah, it is. So we've got the body. The only thing the body is currently containing is the script. And then we go back through the loop. So we free that thing there. What buffer have we got open? We've got the master buffer. Claim buffer master. Yeah, I mean, I do feel like after we've sprint F the master buffer, I do feel like we want to declaim it. You know, because then the next time we go through the loop, well, but it's, yeah, I suppose, I don't know. If it's well formed. I suppose at a minimum I'd have to set the pointer back to the start of the location. But I wonder if this would all just do it anyway. Oh, I haven't written it out. So I need to do all of this stuff. And I actually need to open an out file. Let's just see what happens if I pass it a whole bunch of files. Yeah, it does die. Right, okay. So what I'm going to do is, at the end of here, I'm going to declaim the buffer. Well, hang on a second. Claim buffer. Yeah, I think the other way to so you just need to declaim it, you just need to say less than or equal to the master size. Is that all? And then obviously for the title as well. Right, so that is okay. Alright then, so what I'll do is, I'll say for each of these things, I am going to, so for each claim buffer call, I'm going to do a matching, like, claimed memory less than or equal to the size of that thing. I think that should be sane. I mean, the only thing I'm thinking, because right, claiming a buffer, I'm not allocating anymore. If it's well formed, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? If it's well formed, then it gets claimed. If we hit one that isn't well formed, well, hang on. If it's well formed, then we're going to claim the buffer. And within that scope, we're going to declaim it. What's happening here? Is that, what is that? Master pointer? Oh, it's just some dodgy highlighting. We're in the loop. We've done the thing. So we're looping through each file. I wish this stuff down here was grayed out as it should be. Like that. Oh, is it redraw something? Repass? So yeah, this is for each thing, each file. What is let's check actually for each file. Why am I here? Oh, it's because I'm in main, isn't it? Yeah, so main pops you out a bit. Right, yes. So here's where we need to do the writing out as well. So like once we've got all of this stuff in, we then want to write out the... Oh, actually we do need the location of the pointer. Get on a minute, where am I? Yeah, this is the right thing, isn't it? Yeah, here we are. And then we want to say master.pointer plus the print size, print length. And then here we want to open a new file for writing out to. Did I do return 1? Yeah, I did do return 1. And then we F write the buffer, so it's the master buffer. So it's from the master location. It's the master pointer taken with the master location. Beyond Strustrup caused frustration. And then F close the out file. F open. So with a bit of luck that will have given me some file. Yeah. Master.pointer plus print length. So it did write to a file. It did write from the master location. Beyond Strustrup, so master pointer take away master location, yeah. Cause as a count. Wrote it to the out file. And close the out file and then it declaimed that. Sprint everything into the master pointer. If it's well formed, call it in print length. So we're going to go over there. We're not doing anything with the title anyway at the moment. Claim buffer. If it's well formed, we'll go through that, and then we claim the buffer for the master. Then we want to sprintf into the master.pointer. And the master pointer is just at the start of master. At least it jolly well should be. So we're asking it to master, well, I mean, unless... Master point of print length. So we're incrementing that. Now we're trying to do another sprintf into the pointer at the new location. Am I doing this correctly? Print length, because I remember I had to add an ink. Test point. Oh, it's plus equals. Okay. That looks more like it. Yeah. Bit unsure about this. Like, start text scene without seeing a doc type first. Expect a doc type HTML. Really? I mean, I can do that if you want me to. Exclamation mark doc type. There you go. So yeah, that looks fine to me so far. Doc type, style, body script. Yeah, okay, so now let us, I think let's start to do the stuff, isn't it? So this is where we do the copy buffer calls, right? But we have nothing in those buffers, so we need to start to populate them buffers. So for each annotation index, the first thing we can start to look at is the author. And what we're doing here is annotate. Oh, that's the point. Yeah, yeah. Because I can start to populate the text buffer before other stuff. Or rather, when I say I can do that, I have to do that. So I kind of need to figure out what is where that starts. Well, hang on, I've already figured that out, haven't I? I said, well, it's not there, is it? It's going to be reference. I was saying that the text buffer starts here. Oh, that's the point. Yeah. So you know what? I think I'm going to just make a small change here. Do I need to do this? Because the other alternative would be, if there's an author, then we write out the span class author, style that, and then the name of the author into the text and into the thing we need to append authored into the actual annotation header. That's interesting. So maybe actually, rather than getting onto the author, oh hang on, and we're also, I need to do the title as well first. Kind of. No, I don't. I don't do the title first at all, because that just gets built up whenever it needs to be built up. I mean, technically, I suppose I could start to write into the title, couldn't I, if I fancied it. You know, because this is all non-variable stuff. Actually, yeah, that might not be a bad idea, actually. Maybe I should do that, actually. I should do the non-variable stuff. So I've got like the start and end stuff, and then work on the variable stuff. So that would mean writing div class and title, and then that next coloured next rather. That would be doing that, and then putting like yeah, that'd be it. It'd be doing this at the start of the loop, or rather this before the annotations loop, and then doing this after the annotations loop. Right. Meanwhile, inside the annotations loop, this stuff will be built up. Yeah, let's do that. So yeah, I'm just going to be back in a sec to do the loo. And we'll continue. This is going pretty smoothly though, honestly. This? No, it's not even hot. I have like a hot water bottle here, by the way. It's a cold country, this Manchester land. Is there any chat going on? No, there's no chat. So everybody's either enthralled or not bothered in the slightest. Oh wow, this actually paused, did it? Wonder why. Oh. Wait, did I lose the audio? Wait, maybe. Well, I don't know. Audio kind of seems to be coming through, okay. Yeah. I suppose the main thing is actually is that I just implement the stuff, honestly. It's as far as he's shrugging. Total ambivalence. I love it. So yeah, as I was saying, we're going to start populating the title buffer with this. So it's the title and this blank class episode name. So let's see if I can pull that from somewhere. Yeah. So yeah, as you can see, this stuff up here, I've already done that. So it's literally... Oh, that's interesting as well. So previously I was writing into the working location and then straight away copying it out into the out buffer, which isn't what I want to do here. So for each annotation, we've got the claim buffer. First we need to do is sprintf into the claims, sorry, the title pointer. Right. And then we want to do the title dot pointer plus equal the print length. I think that's going to be the pattern, isn't it? It's going to be sprintfing, keeping the print length, and then incrementing the pointer by the print length. So that's the first thing we need to do up there. And then after all the annotations are said and done, which is just right here actually, here we want to do yeah, right, it's this, isn't it? It's this span class annotator. Yeah, because that aligns with the ref container, and the ref container will deal with itself. So, yeah, annotator container. Yep, that's all it is. Let's just say the whole lot. So then we've got some of the stuff ready. So for each annotation, yeah, so we're doing it in here. So sprintfing it into the, again, it's a working location. So it's just that, so the working location, I kept reusing that as like my sort of temporary storage, I think. I wonder if I'm going to have anything like that. I mean, it's possible that I won't have anything like that at all. Or it's possible that I'll need it. I think that's correct. And then increment the title pointer. Right. So, I mean, technically at this point, well, the title's done actually, isn't it? So we don't need to increment that. Because then we can just copy the entire title into the master, right? Let's just see what that looks like. Copy buffer from the how do I do this? It's just master to sorry, the title to master. Is that how I do that? And also I should really do that there, I'd suggest. But yeah, the copy buffer master pointer. Master pointer, I shouldn't be using the master pointer. What? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I should actually. Beg your pardon. It was title pointer. Copy over the title to master. Actually, the copy buffer calls. It's just going to be the title and the player, isn't it? Bizarrely enough, I believe, because when we've got to the end of the annotations, they should have all been populated. Try and build this. Steel drums and everything. Hello, Zillaresco. All those monkeys together in Snowbound Land. Wow, there's even vocals in this track. So yeah, it's a Donkey Kong Country 2 remix album. So yeah, we need test over. Alright. So that's working alright. So the title, episode name, spontaneity. Yeah, that's perfect, I believe. So then let's do a div for the player. So here, yeah, we've populated the title set. Here we then want to do, right, yeah, we need to claim a buffer, don't we? I mean, yeah, just for the sake of argument, let's just claim it here. It's got the title and the player has to be pretty large. Let's just see how big Sean was making it. down to the script. So he was making it this large. Did I manage to get that? I kind of did, yeah. So... ...165 kilobytes. I think, yeah, 165k. So if I allocate 256, because I mean that's pretty long. It's a pretty long set of annotations. You know, it's all of this lot. Like 9 hours. I think that's pretty rare. So I guess that allocating 256 kilobytes for the player would be fine, I think. Right. So I don't want to start writing into this, so the question here is, what does this have to contain? So the rest container, that's all variable. So the player container, right, so the player container, it needs to contain this amount of information. Markers container. Right. So it's one div, another div that gets closed, and then another open div for the markers container. So that should mean that I would need to do 2 closing divs down here. So that corresponds with this. Yep, and then 2 closing divs. Yeah, cool. So yeah, let's go and grab that, wherever that is. Rest container. Player container, here we go. Yeah, I mean there's all this going on in the same sprint. Yeah, you see here. So a sprintfing in the working locations. This part here, this span class annotated container, is part of the title, right? This div closes the title, and then this opens the player container. And I was doing all of this stuff in the one thing, which was just prone to messiness, I think. So what we were saying was, it's all of this, isn't it? Div player container, and the markers container, I believe. So actually let's just yank this entire thing. So sprint effing into the player location, or player pointer actually, and it's also the print size, print length. So we need to just give us the player container. I think that's all that needs. And then we need to player.pointer plus equals the print length. Okay, and then after having done all of this lot, we can then do another sprintf. So print length is equal to sprintf into the player.pointer, and this thing is just going to be the closing divs. I'll just find where those are exactly. Okay. And then, again, I don't think I need to actually increment the player pointer group because this is the end of the player. Let's just try that actually. Let's just see if that theory is correct. I suppose I should write a note there that this is the end of the title. Nailed it. So the rest was allocate 1 meg because he always has the pig hat on. And intervals would allocate a random amount. Why does that not surprise me? So this looks probably alright, I think. Oh, hang on a minute. Maybe it's not actually. Because where is the actual... Where's the YouTube player part of it? That's interesting. So that's the player container. Div class video container. So go in the video data ID. I mean, I know that I haven't done any time codes, but I would have expected to see the video, I think. Oh, hang on a second. Oh, actually, yeah, so that is, div class mouse container opens up, and then it closes up on the same line, on the same indentation. And then this guy closes. That's interesting. Let's just try hard coding something in there, just to see if that is the problem. The fact that there's no actual marker. Right. So that should be here in the markers container. There we go. It just wanted a marker. That's kind of interesting. Didn't really anticipate that. Does that even work? Yeah, it does work just like that. So yeah, I mean, I guess now is the time, isn't it, to actually do our looping. Here's where we do all our copy buffer calls. Collate the buffers. Ah, right. So here's the collation. Oh, hang on a second. Yeah, all this part is part of the collation. So yeah, right. So for each annotation index, I want to be writing in. So yeah, for each annotation, I want to actually claim. Let's first of all claim a buffer for each annotation. Wait a second. Didn't I have somebody went... Oh no, it was 2 kilobytes, wasn't he? It was 2 kilobytes for one annotation. Yeah, which isn't 256. Let's just give this a go. Let's first of all try claiming the buffer. I'm just totally typing out this stuff that is just way up there. I could just easily just copy, paste without any problem. Claim memory. So this is going to be the annotation. And I want to make this. Let's make it 4K, just so we're on the safe side. And then after the end of this, we do want to actually reduce the claimed memory. Right. So we want to claim that. For each annotation, we want to do this. And then let's just say oh, hang on a second. Yeah, we needed the... So the annotation itself actually contains stuff. It's got the annotation header, the text and the category. Yeah, right. So for each annotation, the header is going to be yeah, this was the bit, wasn't it? I was kind of deliberating over how to do this exactly. Yeah, it will just be the div class marker authored, wouldn't it? And then whenever we write out the text, because we have to write out the text multiple times, this is the bit that we need to build up this bit from here. This bit will always be consistent. So we could, when we've built up all of the text and we've built up all of the header, we can write out the header into the annotation buffer. Then we can write out this. Then we can write out the text. Then we can write out this again, which is static, we don't need to generate this. And then we write out the text again. And then again we do that. Yeah, I think that's okay. So this is going to happen. We're going to write this into the annotation buffer at the end. So this isn't part of the text, right? This is just hand put into the annotation buffer after we've written out this. So yeah, let's just start off by writing into the annotation header the unfortunate thing about this actually is that there are two variable parts, right? It's the classes and the data refs. Data timestamp always stays the same. So maybe we actually need the header to be in 2 bits. So like the annotation class and the annotation data ref, maybe that's what we actually need. And the annotation class will start off containing, well, nothing actually. It'd only start to contain stuff once we need to pop stuff like authored onto it. Right. And the data ref, that could start off being, it'd first of all have to contain, no, it'd have to be empty. But when we see a data ref at first, we'd have to populate it with a space and then a data ref and the actual data ref. I think that sounds like a reasonable way of doing it. So this whole thing is going to be it's still going to be the header, and it still needs to be built. But we can start off by writing this part into the header, right? And then as we go through the annotation, well, hang on a minute. Didn't I say that the first thing we need to find out is whether it's authored? What else can we have here? Oh, we can have Blackboard. We can have other categories, right? That was the thing, wasn't it? Yeah, marker Blackboard. So yeah, the only constant is this part here, up to there. I mean, unless we just output the data timestamp for all that. Put the data timestamp first, and then the div class marker. And then we could add the data ref onto the end if we need it. Yeah, let's do that. So that means that we have got the annotation header, but we also have the annotation class. And the annotation ref, or the annotation data, maybe. Yeah, let's say annotation class and annotation data. I mean, yeah, being a buffer is maybe a bit overkill actually, but let's keep it like this. Okay. So these are going to start off empty. For each annotation, we want to first of all claim the annotation, but we actually want to claim the header first. And this is only going to be small, right? See how big that was actually. So this header is 81 bytes. Am I doing this right? Yeah, because the markers container, or hang on a minute. For each annotation, yeah. So this is associated with each annotation, right? So this is the correct bit that should be in the header. So how big was that again? 81 bytes. If I give it 256, just in case there's like hundreds of categories associated with it. Oh yeah, and also, yeah, so Asaf was saying that I'd want to put like cat, what did we have? Research or something, wasn't it? In fact, we can see, can't we? Cat research, cat rendering. Yeah, so he was saying cat rendering and cat research. We'd want to put these guys in the marker. So that, how big does that make this? That's 108. Yeah, so it could blow up, couldn't it? Let's give it 256 and just hope for the best. Is that the end of the soundtrack? No, it's not. It's just paused again. I wonder why it keeps pausing. So we're going to sprint F into the header. Going to sprint F into here. Yeah, let's do the div data timestamp first, because we know that's constant. That can just go in straight away. And then the class. Oh, hang on. Yeah, I mean here I am doing a bit of the overlapping of buffers thing here, but I feel like it's all right. I feel like this is kind of sane. So yeah, data timestamp, wasn't it? Is it a string? Not even sure what it is. So we also need to increment this guy. Print length is that. And we want to do annotation header pointer plus equal to print length. We want to declaim the header size as well. So yeah, data timestamp, right, let's do this. Data timestamp. So where was I doing it previously? Data timestamp, so it's a D, is it? Timecode to seconds. Is that the right value? Annotations, time. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Timecode to seconds. So it's a D and it's a timecode to seconds. Have I lined that up at all correctly? No. Timecode to seconds. Well, tell you what, should I? Yeah, let's pop it on the new line. Could make a habit of doing that. Okay. And then we will need to declaim the annotation header size at some point. For each annotation, so, annotation size. Oh, right, yeah. So the annotation header has to have this stuff. And then we need to continue on our loop. Yeah, we need to continue on our loop. And then finally we would need to close the annotation header, and also the marker shouldn't have the space after it. Right. Is this going to be right? Is that paused again as well? Yeah, it has. Doesn't want to play, does it? Single mode is off. Mazza Dude. That's a nice name. And David Wise himself actually was on this remix soundtrack, which is kind of cool. What did he do? Rescued. Donkey Kong Rescued. Okay. Yeah. Let's just take another look at the reference actually. So I've output the data timestamp, and I've outputted the marker without a closing thingamajig. Right, interesting. So what this is kind of suggesting to me it is actually suggesting to me that I should do all of these guys in the one thing, just so I don't end up trampling on people's feet, right? What I basically mean by that is I need to output a closing double quote. Right. What was it? Annotation header, annotation class, annotation data. What I'm kind of saying is I should be sprintfing the space on the class marker into the annotation class, and then at the end of the loop I should close that class before the annotation header closes the div. Right. I think I need to do that. I know this is kind of super tweaky, but I think this is more correct. Hang on. D2 doom. Is that right? I think that's correct. Yeah, so I've just outputted the data timestamp so far. So, yeah. Let's claim all our buffers up here, actually. I'm sure that doesn't need to be too long, does it? Oh, well, I mean, it is actually the bulk of it, isn't it? Can't be 256 though. Surely 128 should be enough for that. I mean, we'll see. Then what I'm basically saying is print the length is equal to that sprintf into it. Into the annotation class pointer. And we're basically putting these guys in. So yeah, it's going to be the space before it, and then it has to close just like, well, it doesn't have to close, it needs to stay open, right? And then I need to increment the annotation class pointer by the print length, right? Let's actually do that below here. So data timestamp class marker, right? Because this could potentially be filled up, start getting filled up as I go. What have I claimed? I've claimed the annotation header and the annotation class. Have I claimed the annotation as well? Oh, the annotation gets claimed down here, right? So let's just make sure that after here, I declaim both the annotation header and the annotation class. Yeah, I do need to definitely do that. Yeah, I mean, this is all just to do with allocation size, so it doesn't matter where I do this, right? So, I mean, I could just do it there, basically. But yeah, after having done this, this is where we'd need to be potentially populating these guys. Claim buffer annotation. Yeah, so that's for that. So this is where we need to copy from the annotation header into the annotation. But we first need to finish off our stuff here. So we need to sprintf into the annotation class, the annotation class pointer, it just needs to be a closing quote. Let's use copy string to buffer. Copy string to buffer. We want to, let me just see if this actually does work. We want to copy that into the annotation class pointer. Not sure if this will work. So I want to copy that into there. Oh wow. What's it expecting? Oh, it's expecting it to go into the annotation class full stop. Oh, right. Yeah, it's expected to get to here, isn't it? Yeah. Let me just double check what this does actually. Takes in the buffer destination. And the source. So the source is the stuff. So the destination pointer plus plus. Yeah, so that if the pointer is at the right location, it'll just put it in the right place. Okay. Doesn't null terminate it though, does it? So maybe I want to do that. Destination pointer plus plus is equal to the source. Ah, hang on, unless this is already null terminated. It's kind of possible, I suppose. I guess I could actually find that out, couldn't I? But let's just put that off for a bit. Copy string. Then we need to copy a closing thing into the annotation header. Right. See that one? Yeah. That's not right. We first of all need to copy the annotation class into the annotation header. And then we want to end the annotation header like that. And then, once we've claimed the annotation, we want to copy the annotation header into the annotation. This might go horribly wrong and not do at all what I expect, but let's just hope for the best. So the idea here, let's just delineate this stuff a bit better. This stuff has to happen at the start, and this stuff has to happen at the bottom. So let's just see what that does for us. Cutting edge cat rendering research. Indeed. Are we not writing out the annotation to the player? Yeah, we're not, are we? So that's interesting. We need to first of all copy out the annotations to the player. So, right, yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? There's master. Where's the player being claimed? Collate the buffers. Copy buffer player to master. There's the player being claimed. So yeah, at the bottom we want to, so this wants the info to the right. info. Copy over into the annotation. Yeah, right, that seems okay. Yeah, because this thing here is the end of our loop. So yeah, once we've the end of our line basically. So at this point, we want to copy the annotation buffer into the player. And that should hopefully give us some more stuff. Yeah, it does. So yeah, class marker, yeah, that is what I'd expect. Obviously it's not giving us all the stuff that we need. So yeah, I suppose technically the after doing the class marker, and that's nice to see that they were null terminated as well, so they did successfully get written out. I would suggest that at the end we need to do that. Then we need to write the well, this needs to first of all have a new line after it. Oh, this info, I see. Yeah, it is conky, yeah. Allows you the most total download. Yeah. Yeah, I can give you my conky config if you like. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Really useful. It's also kind of reassuring to see all this stuff going on, because like, you know, when I've set up a new system before, and I've had like, I haven't had this information, I've been a bit like, I felt a bit unsure about about whether the stuff's working, you know, whether the CPU's doing anything, whether the RAM, anything's happened with the RAM, whether any processors, you know, whether the hard drive's even working. I mean, I know that's all totally kind of crazy stuff, because of course they will be fine, but it's just nice to kind of see all this for a bit of reassurance that your computer's actually working. But does it work on Windows? I don't think it does. I don't think it does work on that particular operating system. I don't think so. Let's have a look. Yeah, it just seems to be conky equivalence, doesn't it? Oh, right, yeah, you mentioned Rainmeter in the chat, yeah. I think I just saw something saying with Rainmeter there's no secrets. Yeah, I mean, it looks very similar. Where's that even gone? Oh, yeah, right. Keep forgetting I haven't got the keys. So, I mean, I'd be interested to see how you actually customize this, because the way that you customize Conky is by writing an actual file, which you can then just put in. You can transfer it between your computers, and you don't need to do anything at all. So it'd be interesting to see how you customize Rainmeter. Well, that seems kind of correct. So the markers container does need to contain these guys, and I believe at the end we just need to make sure that we have the closing div. So yeah, at the end of each annotation, hang on a sec, we're going to have annotation header. Oh, it's the closing, it's the actual annotation, isn't it? So it's not the annotation header at this point. Or is it? Hang on. Data timestamp. Data. Let's just check the reference. So it needs to contain that, right, I see, yes, it just needs to contain that. And then we need to write that out into the annotation. And then after having written that out, we need to write out the contents. And then we need to write out a closing div. Right, okay. It's kind of interesting that there's this bit of space here. There's this, and then there's going to be another bit of space here. Which is basically going to be... well, actually, it's not there, is it? It's going to be... after having written out the header into the annotation, we then want to write into the... We do want to sprintf into the header again. Or, well, no, it's just writing into the annotation, isn't it? So it's like a copy string to buffer for the annotation. I think that's a reasonable way of doing it. I suppose technically it would be a bit more sane, a bit more symmetrical, let's say, to actually use the header again, the annotation header buffer. But I mean, we're always going to need a header, aren't we? So whenever there's an annotation, we're always going to have output the header. So the annotation might as well contain the closing stuff. Which suggests that I don't need to put the closing thing there. The new line there. I should be putting the new line. Oh, hang on a minute. No, I do need a new line as well, don't I? Yeah, I do. Copy string to buffer. Right, so I'm copying it into the... Let's just see what this does. It's like crash and burn. Well, it hasn't really, has it? It's done exactly what I wanted to. So, yeah, let's just make sure that I line it up correctly. 16, should we say? I think that looks right, yeah. Data timestamp, yeah. I think that's correct. So then within here, so what we've done there, we've done this and this. So within each of those things, we want to say, well actually no, we need to do this first, don't we? Div class content. We always need to say div class content span class timecode span, right? And the next lot of stuff is all the text and the categories until the closing div, which we will need to then close. So let's do that. Let's write out that, because that doesn't have any styling applied to it, I don't believe, because all the styling happens up here. So what we're talking about here is writing this into the annotation, which is kind of interesting because we've just done the closing, it's the closing div, wasn't it, for the very end. So, right, yeah, it's copy buffer annotation header into the annotation. So it's at this point which means to copy the string into the annotation. So there needs to be like a series of these things. There's going to be a copy string into here, and then a copy buffer, which is going to be the text into here. Copy buffer text and copy buffer category. I think that's right. So the time code, I believe that is actually a... What is that? What was that? It's a string. Right. Could substitute all this as this for one of these guys. So here we are copying this string straight into the annotation. Yeah. Copy string to buffer. The time code. So the time code has to be... Oh, right. I see. So I actually need to sprintf somewhere first. Yeah, interesting. Well, the header. I guess actually we could use the header, couldn't we? You know, need that copy buffer F. Yeah, kind of do, don't I? I think I might just reuse the header. Yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then sprintf into the header. I think that would be the best way of doing it. Well, not the best way, because like copy buffer F would be better. And this is going to be a one-hit thing, so I don't need to keep a rolling knowledge of where the pointer is. Because after sprintfing into the header location, it'll be null pointed, null terminated. So yeah, I think I'm okay. Here to sprintf straight into the, well, hang on a minute. Why not just sprintf straight into the location? Yeah. Let's sprintf straight into the location. I think this is correct. And then timecode to seconds of the time. I think this is correct. So then we can just write out, we can copy that header into the annotation. Div class content, span class timecode. And then this is where, so we'd write that out to the annotation, and then we need to write out the text into here as well. Right. And then we need to do another, so we write the text and then we do a closing. I mean, I suppose here we're in the territory of like overlapping buffers and getting into a little bit of a mess, but I think we're okay. Basically it's a closing div and then it's going to be another opening for all of this stuff. Well, I suppose I actually could sprintf this into the header again, couldn't we? It was a closing div, wasn't it? So writing into the annotation header again, aren't we? Because we just need this as a temporary place to put it. So what was it? It was a closing div that lined up. Is like on 17 or something, wasn't it? 20, 22. Where's that? This is on 22. There's 22. So we want to do a closing div, and then we want to do a new line. Closing div and a new line. Because this span is to do with the text still. They want to do all of this down to here again, timecode. Right. I suppose technically I could actually just write out the text here anyway. After the stream. Look at the my printf example. Alright. Alright, cheers, I will. So here we have the timecode again, which needs to be a string. Then we end the span again in the same way, and then again we've got this, and again we write out the annotation. Why is that being coloured like that? Right, yeah, we need that. So what is actually happening here? It's a bit misaligned. That's a 22. Yeah. So content span class timecode. Then we got that. Well, I mean, shall I tell you what? Tell you what. Let us actually write the text as well. Let's just copy buffer from. It's actually copy string to buffer, isn't it? So it's going to be the annotation, the HTML annotations, annotation index, text. I'm going to copy this into the text. Right. And then here, rather than saying copy buffer, rather than saying here write text, let's actually copy the goddamn buffer in. Right. Now this is looking a bit compact, isn't it, folks? Well, I guess because it's just the collation bit. I don't suppose it needs to be too readable. Maybe as long as it works, right? Yeah. So we need to copy the annotation header into the annotation, and then again. Well, let's space that out a bit, and then we want to again copy the text into the annotation. Hang on a second. Yes, this is right. This is right. I hope. Copy the text, and then we want to sprintf again into the annotation header the closing part of it. Or, well, I mean, there's another text to come, isn't there? We need to print the text 3 times. So here, we've just done the second time. We need to close this div. We need to write all of this stuff out up to here. So this is another sprintf call into the annotation header location. That is lining up, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. And then these guys want to substitute all instances of this for this. Put one of those, one of these. Span. So that doesn't have a new line after it. Progress made. It's not copy string to buffer at all anymore, is it? Oh, sorry, yeah, it is. This is an actual call. So writing the header out, and then we need the time again. And copy out into the annotations, yeah. And then we need to copy the text once more. And then finally, after having copied out the text for the 3rd time, we close the div, and then close the marked container, do we? I mean, we'll see, find out, won't we? There's one clue actually. This is where that opens. So it's possible that we need to after copying out the text of the annotation. We need to put the sprintf this. I think we just need to sprintf another closing div. Well, there might be another couple of them. Because I'm just looking at how this is indented. This might be indented incorrectly. Yeah, let's try putting a couple more of these guys in. Right. That was 18. Blimey. Of course, I've got the need my left hand to do the escape. Right. Okay, so if I build this, it dies, of course. Right. Oh, that's nasty. Is it possible that annotation is just not big enough? So I gave it 4 kilobytes. Oh no. What am I doing? What am I doing? Header location. Options buffer annotation. Let's just try it with a smaller file. Well, try with the test. So that dies as well. In the copy string to buffer, so it's lines 1, 2, 112. Oh, that's the actual function. Two, 4, 3. It's that call, isn't it? Copy string to buffer. Oh right, it's the text. I see. Doesn't like that. How big's the text? Have I not claimed the text buffer? That's possible, isn't it? Because I just threw that in there, didn't I? That's probably what it is. I just haven't claimed the text buffer. $256k is probably. Yeah, we were saying we need to 4, didn't we? Because that guy's text was like 2k. We sprint a thingamajig mismatch. Ah. So let me just read this actually, because you try compiling with W all. I feel like it should catch that at compile time. All right. Ah, right. Nice one. Yeah, these will come. Don't worry about that. Awesome. So Timecode to seconds. Is that what I want to be printing? Maybe it's just the time, actually. Maybe it's not the timecode to seconds that I want, but just the time. Let's just pop down to see what progress faded. That's a unique thing, isn't it? When I see progress faded, it was supposed to be the time code. Yeah, it was just the time. So it wasn't time code to seconds at all. And use variable category. Yeah. So that's kind of nice that these are the only warnings that I'm getting. Because I know that they're not used. Character in pointer, that's kind of an interesting one. I wonder if I'll ever have to use that. Yeah, I will. Because I'm going to be iterating through the text in a minute. Can turn that off with unused variable. Ah, okay. Let's just do that then. Wonder why I'm using GCC, by the way, rather than Clang. Is that for, I think it always for line numbers, wasn't it? There we go. So that's interesting. So it isn't quite correct. So built-in forums. So, interesting. So closing divs shouldn't be way over there. But the progress fader should be, right? Well, I mean, should I do that there? That's like a short list. Yeah, let's do it there. Oh yeah, there are all these closing divs. There's another closing div there, which is going to be that guy. Why have I put a space there? So that looks more correct. So yeah. So we've got this. This is correct. Concept progress fade is progress mode. So we've got this all looking honky dory. Div class marker. So this thing is missing some of the header, isn't it? That's correct there. Div class marker. Where's progress? Oh, progress mode is there. So the only thing wrong with this why is well, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff wrong, isn't there? Div class content, spam class type. Oh right. So yeah, it's the stuff that's still in the header, isn't it? So I need to put the header pointer back to the start. I think that's the issue there. Because we're copying into the header all the time. And then after we're done with the header, for the final time, we want to say the annotation header pointer is equal to the annotation header, I guess. Well, should we do that down here? Just so it's all, everything happening together. All the reset stuff happening here. Well, it's not that, is it? Oh, well, it kind of is. Maybe. Why is that not looking any different? That did look exactly the same as it did. Maybe I just missed it. So the problem now is, well, I mean, it's still looking exactly the same, like I say. Time code 1. Yeah, it's still got all the stuff in the annotation header. Gosh, this is looking pretty spaghetti already, actually. Yeah. We want to claim the buffer. Do we declaim the annotation header, I wonder? We do, but yeah, we do technically declaim it, yeah. Bit length. Annotation header pointer. Well, hang on a minute. Claim buffer. So we zeroed it out. Ostensibly. Yeah, but then claiming it again should set the pointer. Maybe I need to just null terminate something down here, maybe. Copy string to buffer. Div, div, div. I'm copying this into the annotation. Sprintf. Okay, so that closes fine. That closes okay. This closes okay. And then this guy opens okay. But the problem is we're just outputting all of this stuff again. And this stuff corresponds with this lot. Header. So it's evidently still in the header. copy buffer, annotation header. So it's doing this before doing this. Tell you what, maybe I should actually, I mean, I know that I did set the annotation header pointer to be back at the start, but maybe like the first time I use it, maybe I should just straight up say that it's the location. Oh, it doesn't make a difference. Okay, so there's something else going wrong then. That's interesting. Copy buffer. Annotation header to annotation. Let's just get rid of that. I'm sure this can't be correct because I'm pretty sure I do need that, don't I? Yeah, I'm still getting some of this guy. So we're getting some information that's still in the... Oh, hang on, it's still in the annotation. That could be the problem, couldn't it? So it's not the annotation header we need to put to the start, it's the annotation full stop. I like how it just never looks any different. Yet the thing is changing, so that hasn't helped. Yeah, actually, let's just see if this changes it at all. So that doesn't change it. That doesn't change it, so I don't need to do that. Does seem to close okay. So yeah, it's literally just subsequent times through. It doesn't want to write out from the correct place. So for each annotation, what am I climbing through here? So there's the title, there's the player. We are claiming the header, the class and the text. Header, the class and the text. Header, class, text. And down here, header, class and site. And we are, yeah, that's text. So we are declaiming everything. Let's step into this. Right, so at this point, master oh no, we're still building up the player, aren't we? What is the... what am I actually looking for here? So we've come down here. We're on the second annotation. So we're going to output the timestamp correctly. Right. I don't really understand. Oh, hang on a minute. We're getting right down to the bottom, aren't we? We're printing out the header, aren't we? And then for some reason, we're printing out a whole load more stuff. Yeah, because this is the header, and this only gets written out after we've compiled it, after we've built all this stuff. So we're correctly doing this. So we're sprintfing into the header location. This. Header location. And then we're copying that into the annotation. And it's at this point that we're copying the wrong stuff. Ah, hang on a minute. No, that's not. I was going to say, do we need to do annotation header pointer? Red claim buffer arena. Because we're getting through this stuff here. Blimey, what's going on there? Yeah, so print. What do I want to print here? So I'm going to say, yeah, what's in the annotation header pointer? just step over this line, print this again. Annotation header, pointer. So we sprintf'd. Not sure I understand why that is saying that. Time class what? Yeah, so there's the time code. This is our bogus stuff here. I don't understand why. Hang on a minute, where am I? I'm here, aren't I? Print length, annotation header pointer. Right, hang on, let's step over here. Right. Yeah, right, so now this contains data timestamp 176. Oh, I see, so this is just going to output. Well, it's not going to output to this yet. Just printf that. And then we've incremented the pointer. So that it's ready to take the class marker. Right, that seems reasonable to me, I think. So that's going to be, it's going to be that thing there. So class, why is that not printing out more stuff though? Shouldn't there be like class marker in there? Go sprint. Oh, it's annotation class. Sorry, right. Yeah. So we need the class. Oh, am I not doing that right? Oh, I've forgotten all about the class, I think, haven't I? Let's just continue and see what happens. Copy into buffer that into the annotation class. Copy the annotation class into the annotation header. Yeah. Copy that into the annotation header. So yes, that seems fine. That's what we want to be happening, I believe. Because I think at this point we've got to there. And now we've claimed a new buffer for the annotation, and we want to copy the annotation header into the annotation. Ah, well, hang on a minute. It's possible that I need to, well no, it's copy string to buffer. That does not terminate it, doesn't it? Do we establish? Possible that this doesn't actually not terminate. Let's just try and printfing the annotation header. That's interesting. So that's, yeah, and it still contains, well, I mean, it still contains this, which is kind of interesting to me, I think. Because I would have expected this to end here. So that's possibly what's going on here. Let's just see. I'm sure that was, well maybe it's just because it was the first try that it didn't it didn't care about null termination. I mean, that didn't produce a warning, so no, that has made a difference. God damn it. Did I build it? Yeah, I did. Fuck. That made no difference. We got to here and we were saying that that's fine. The annotation header. Oh, hang on. Well, wait, the annotation header's moving on, is it? Well, no, that's not. That's fine, though, isn't it? Copy string to buffer. It's possible that this is busted, isn't it? The copy string to buffer function. I reckon it is, actually. String littles always end in null. Your copy function is probably not copying it. Copy string to buffer, yeah. There we go. That was the problem. Wow. Well, that was a useful exercise, and I did actually have a look at this and think, does this need to null terminate? And I almost made it null terminate, but didn't bother. Interesting. So yeah. So that was the problem. And I think this now looks all okay. Yeah, I've got the three versions outputting. Alright, cool. And I can hear that it's the end of the Limbo soundtrack, so this is going to be the end for now. But I think we've made a reasonable start here. So basically here's where you build up the string, build up the text. Calculate the buffers. Here's where we do. Text size, annotation header. Yeah, so I did declaim those guys. Okay. Copy annotation out to the player. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to call it here for now. at least we're back to almost where we were. We're just not doing the author, and we're not doing the blackboard. But I think we're in reasonable shape here. You know, I'm using the buffers as I wanted to. I've got the one loop going on. It's quite a long loop. It's interesting to see that there's still stuff in the title being put in after the loop. But yeah, I mean, I think we've made a reasonable start here. We've now got 738 lines of code. $312 of which are commented out. So that was 312 for the previous thing. What was that all doing? Was that? Yeah, it was doing everything, wasn't it? Right down to the HTML3. Oh, we've only got 240 lines. I feel like we've got a lot of stuff going on here. So yeah, I guess that that Wikipedia article will be, that's the thing to look at, I think. You know, because like doing a sprintf and then doing the copy buffer. I think doing the copy string buffer, yeah. I wonder why that isn't just a sprintf. Why isn't that a sprintf? Oh, it's because we needed to. Oh, we needed to deal with the pointers, wasn't it? So we just pass it the full buffer. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to call it here. Let's actually, yeah, let's keep the lines. Somehow, yeah. There we go. And I'm pretty sure this might just be where we do our cases. Right. You know, you build up the text, you build up the annotation classes, you build up the categories, and of course, like the quotes menus, the two menus, we build the menus up as well. So yeah, I think this is just where we do all that stuff. And I feel like we could do that all tomorrow. I feel like that'd be totally doable. Yeah. Suppose could do with pushing it actually. Git diff. don't like the look of that. What's going on there? Got the buffers there. Got a return 1 here. Wow. Okay, let's get rid of that. Get rid of this. Got a 16. Why is there a 16 there? Oh, it's that thing over there. Any other weirdness? Yeah. Wow, there's all this crazy stuff. So yeah, just excuse me while I clean up this craziness. There's another text, so that's there. Div rotation. Isn't that here? No. There is a nice way of doing this, isn't there? You can actually replace all of this stuff, can't you? But I suppose a bit of drudge work to finish the day can't hurt, can it? It's supposed to use a copy buffer F. Yeah, I've remembered. Yeah. C programming. So yeah, so basically all we've done here is start on the rewrites really. HTML to html.c. The out thing, yeah, right. Why is that? Oh, it's because it's just missing everything, isn't it? Yeah. On ref changed. Reference to HTML. Why is that changed? Ah, yeah, we added the cat rendering, cat research. Okay, let's add reference to HTML as well. And the git commit is going to be single pass rewrite. Yeah, I think that should do. Begin single pass rewrites. And push. And dream of Susie time. And I was sure that I kind of hit a wrong key there, but maybe my password is, maybe I've got a sloppy password. You can type whatever you like, and as long as you're not far off, it's alright. But yes, so I need to read this. This is standard arg.h. I'll get that open right now actually. Have I got anything contentious? Well, kind of, potentially. So yeah, that should be open. It's open, yeah, there we go. Yeah, cool. So I'll I will enjoy this, and I will also enjoy gathering supper and swooning over Susie time. So yeah, thanks very much for just being here, for being heroic, for being generally fantastic and wonderful. And until tomorrow, farewell for now.